Hello everybody, welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door. And after the success of yesterday's ranking video, we are going to continue filling the international break in that vein. And we are going for the best of the best. Here comes ranking from worst to best every single championship winner. But of course, first of all, we must go to Ben's helpful guide to watching. I'm defining the championship as starting in the 2004-2005 season. Do we start from when the playoffs came in? Do we start from when the Premier League came in and Division 2 became Division 1? Or do we start from when Division 1 became the championship? That's what I've decided to go with. Apologies to those excellent teams. I'm talking about Jean Tigana's Fulham particularly. I'm talking about Peter Reid's Sunderland that might just miss out Kevin Keegan's Newcastle. But there you go. We got to start somewhere. The best comment is your own list. To come in on a ranking list and just merely point out, oh, I would have that team higher, I would have that team lower. Well, what does that do to the rest of your list? That's what I'm intrigued in. It's not personal. I'm looking at a whole host of clubs' most special seasons. So please don't take it personally if I have your special season a little bit lower than perhaps you wanted it. And with all that being said, let's get into it now. Here we go. We are going to rank every championship winner from worst to best. 15th. West Brom 2007-2008. Apologies West Brom fans, look, somebody's got to be last, haven't they? And West Brom are our lowest points scoring winner in the criteria that we are using with only 81 points. Tony Mowbray comes back from playoff heartbreak the season before. He gets them up, he does the job. 81 though, Stoke cruising in behind with 79 and actually getting promoted in a very low tide year. This season does see the illustrious West Brom career of Chris Brunt begin. We get players like Jonathan Green in and Rob Corrin, and a 33-year-old Kevin Phillips top scoring with 22 goals. He's still got it. May not be the first time he appears in this list too. West Brom 2007-2008 in 15th. 14th, Cardiff 2012-2013. The Cardiff 2012-2013 will probably be best remembered as being the year that Vincent Tan decided to switch their shirts from blue to red. Obviously, you can imagine that went down like the proverbial fart in church. Otherwise, Malky Mackay takes Cardiff up in a fairly low tide season again. No one really hitting above 80 points, and Cardiff come in at the top with 87. Craig Bellamy makes his return to Wales and goes up with Cardiff. David Marshall ever present in goal, and the late great Peter Whittingham top scores with just 8. Cardiff 2012-2013. 13th, Newcastle 2016-2017. I'm really sorry, Newcastle fans. I know this was an excellent performance this season, but I just can't get excited about this. Yes, the team based around Lascelles and Shelvey and Dwight Gale being excellent up front. Matt Ritchie, he's going to be on this list again later, doing really good things in midfield. However, after selling Sissoko and Wijnaldum, it just seemed that Newcastle were too big, Rafa was too good. They bought all the Championship's best players up and coasted in at a canter. So, excellent performance. I think 94 points. But, I don't know. I've got it in 13th. Newcastle, 2016-2017. 12th, Sunderland, 2004-2005. By my criteria, this is our inaugural season. And I know I always tell you lot to leave your bias at the door, but this is a tough one for me because this involves Sunderland under Mick McCarthy and an Ipswich collapse with my all-time favourite player, Marcus Stewart, top scoring for Sunderland. Oh, how things could have been different. There you go. Mick McCarthy forms perhaps the most Mick McCarthy team in the history of life to do a very, very good job, having lost in the playoff semi-final the previous years and lost some other players. Breen, Caldwell, Elliott, Whitehead, maybe Stewart is the X factor, but it's very, very work-a-day. And whilst the beautiful Ipswich team of Bent, Kookie and Miller scored and conceded freely, Sunderland churned it out under Mick McCarthy, and 11 wins in the last 13 games made them deserved champions. Don't worry, I'm not too bitter, am I? Sunderland, 2004-2005. 11th, Burnley, 2015-2016. In inimitable Sean Dyche fashion, Burnley got themselves relegated from the Premier League and ground their way back in the season of the pragmatist, with the top four comprising Dyche, Karanka, Houghton and Bruce. Imagine that. This was the perfect season for Dyche. Burnley do the job with Heaton, Mee and Keane formidable at the back. Barton and Boyd in the midfield, with Gray and Vokes up top, and Gray top scoring with 23 goals. Yes, Dyche is pragmatic, but they ground it out with a good old 4-4-2, hitting 93 points and winning the title. Burnley, 15-16. 10th, Reading, 2011-2012. Like Tony Mowbray's West Brom, Brian McDermott brought Reading back from playoff heartache to win the division the season later. It wasn't the highest points total in terms of 89. However, it was an excellent three-way race between Reading, Southampton and West Ham, and quite the spectacular finish from Reading as a team built around Pearce and Federici, McAnuff, Caracan, Jimmy Kebe and agent Ian Hart doing bits at left back. That team won 15 of the last 17 games, including away wins against rivals West Ham and Southampton, to get to the top just 4 games from the end of the season and win that 3-team race. A brilliant finish from Reading, and McDermott puts them 10th. Reading, 2011-2012. Bournemouth, 2014-2015. Eddie Howe's Bournemouth were a really interesting team in 2014-15. It was a very, very competitive league that season, and the Cherries came out on top, and probably our most spectacular team so far, scoring 98 goals in the process. I say it was competitive because 8th place, Derby, scored 78 points and managed to miss out on the playoffs. So the entire top 8 really, really high-tide this season. The team, well, Steve Cook is still there. Callum Wilson has just gone to Newcastle. Matt Ritchie gets yet another mention, as well as Harry Arter in midfield. Since there's been a lot of questions about FFP and the subsequent fine that the Cherries got for breaking the FFP, I'll leave it up to you to decide whether this is a great story of an attacking team and maybe FFP and parachute payments do unfairly punish teams that A, haven't been in the Premier League, and B, have small stadiums and low commercial incomes. Or are plucky little Bournemouth not as plucky as people said? I'll leave you to decide that, but what I will say, excellent attacking team and a brilliant promotion in a very tricky season. Bournemouth, 2014-15. 8th, Sunderland, 2006-2007. Wow, here comes our first really, really good story. And we all know that this is all about the man, the myth, the legend, Roy Keane, who takes over Sunderland after 4 games. They have lost all 4 and takes them from bottom to top by the end of the season, winning 16 and losing only 1 of the last 20 games. This is based on Keane at a time where his intensity, charisma, magnetism, whatever you want to call it, actually worked. I think it wore off in later years, particularly at my club Ipswich again. I'm trying to leave my bias at the door here. The team built around Whitehead, Leadbitter, Connolly, top scoring up top with Daryl Murphy, Dwight York as well, and a really, really mad transfer window on August the 31st. What a great ride. What a great story. Bottom to top. Keane, was he going to be the next great manager in British football? No, but this was an absolute superb story this season. Sunderland, 2006, 2007. 7th, Leeds, 2019-2020. Still massively fresh in the memory. Leeds, our most recent championship winners. I've got them up in 7th. What a great story. And it's all about Marcelo Bielsa and the meeting of probably the most intense club fans and the most intense club manager. It's been absolutely box office since he's been there. And this is the story of the team of Calvin Phillips and Ben White, Pablo Hernandez and Luke Ayling. What a great success for Leeds this past season. In the end, they were far and away the best team in the league. 93 points, 10 points clear, I think, when all was said and done. They didn't have it all their own way. And of course, they had to overcome a global pandemic during the season, which not many teams will be able to say they did. And look, this is all about the way they did it. The football was beautiful. The football was attacking. They're the right side of FFP. It was a joy to watch. Leeds 2019-2020. 6th, Norwich City 2018-2019. This was an incredible promotion from Norwich. Absolutely out of nowhere in 2018-19. Having sold star player James Mattheson at the start of the summer, the parachute payments had run out. Yes, they'd got Stuart Webber from Huddersfield, but was he really going to manage to get another side up? They'd signed a lot of players. Nobody really knew who they were. Daniel Farker, well, the Norwich fans were getting impatient with him. His football wasn't clicking. But then, by God, around September this season, everything clicked. Zimmerman comes in. Pookie goes up front. Steeperman, number 10. Buendia gets used to English football. Aarons and Lewis make up that brilliant young back four and core of the team with Tim Krul at the back. And away you go, and it was a brilliant promotion thereafter. The element of surprise took people for the first few months, but in the end, Norwich streaking away. And it needs to be mentioned against an excellent Chris Wilder Sheffield United team and an excellent Marcelo Bielsa Leeds team and an Aston Villa team spending a lot of money with Jack Grealish, John McGinn, Tammy Abraham and Tyrone Mings in tow. So it wasn't the easiest season in the world. And again, like Bielsa's Leeds, we've said in the previous entry, they played really lovely, attacking, slick football. Honestly, changing things now in the Championship where pragmatism had reigned supreme now. We get in a couple of examples of teams really, really footballing their way up. Norwich 2018-19. 5th, QPR 2010-2011. All the elements are here for a brilliant, brilliant story. We've got some drama, we've got some characters, and we've got possibly the best performance individually by any Championship player across any season. This is Neil Warnock's 2010-11 QPR team. They go up with 88 points, and Warnock realises he has an absolute diamond in Adel Tarab, and very, very smartly builds a working structure around the flamboyant, brilliant Moroccan Paddy Kenny, Sean Derry, Clint Hill, Heider Helgeson in the goals as well. Tarab is sensational and drags QPR over the line in the end with 19 goals and 21 assists across the season. You've got the characters and the partnership of Tarab and Warnock, and then you've got this narrative at the end of the season where QPR, are they going to have it taken away from them because of improprieties in the signing of Ale Forlan, the midfielder? They get fined, they don't get a points deduction, and they get their promotion. And please go out of your way to watch the 5-year plan, all brilliantly documented. You've got a Championship great manager, one of the Championship's great individual seasons by Tarab, all of the drama of the finish and some brilliant goals into the bargain. That is why in 5th, QPR 2010-11. 4th, Newcastle 2009-2010. Newcastle's second appearance on the list does fill me with slightly more joy than the first. There is still a sense of them being way too big for the league, but here comes our first 100-point team. And it was quite the performance by Chris Hughton. Newcastle relegated at Aston Villa with Alan Shearer in charge and Michael Owen and Mark Viduka earning huge amounts of wages. It needed a change on the pitch, but it needed stability more than anything, because off the pitch, Mike Ashley is still trying to sell even that long ago. Hughton takes the reins, a cool, calm head, and what a season. 102 points. Kevin Nolan, 18 goals from midfield. A 20-year-old, 19-goal Andy Carroll up top. Nicky Butt, Jonas Gutierrez, Alan Smith. Peter Lovenkrands, really productive season as well. Absolutely sensational work. Newcastle have dominated the Championship the last 2 seasons they've been there. Nearly 200 points. This season ranks very highly for me. They were untouchable. So, our first 100-pointers, 102 points in fact. Newcastle, 2009-2010. Wolves, 2017-2018. Whilst Wolves don't enter the 100-point club, I've got to have them here in my top 3 as an utterly, utterly dominant Championship side under Nuno Espirito Santo. We do have to deal with how they did it. It's Chinese group Fosun partnering with super agent George Mendes. Some very clever financial dealings with loans to buy and very heavy promotion bonuses, let's just say, meant that the gamble was mitigated slightly, but it was a huge gamble in the end that ended up in a loss of £57 million. So, if that's not too romantic for you and you're angered by the FFP, look, plenty of teams have done it. Plenty of teams will continue to do so until they sort out the mess. But that is a whole other conversation. If we park that to one side, this team was untouchably good. They were brilliant. Nuno comes straight in. Okay, Neves, Bolly, Jota were off the charts good for this league. But the development of Connor Cody, Matt Doherty, Barry Douglas around them was outstanding, with Bennett and Ruddy as well, just workaday Championship players added to these excellent, elite, probably frankly European football level players, not second tier English league players. There you go. Neves, Bolly and Jota had a cigar on for most of the season. But tactically, Wolves were brilliant as well. This 3-4-3, we hadn't seen it before, with wing-backs and narrow wingers inverted. Cavaliero or Costa or Jota, Bonatini. God, they had a hell of a team this season. And tactically as well, and we've seen this into the Premier League for Wolves, once they'd scored past you, they'd fold back and be very, very good defensively. It was a recipe for massive success. Not quite 100 points, just the 99 for Nuno Espirito Santo's 2017-2018 Wolves. Second, Reading, 2005-2006. Calm down. There may be some surprise that I don't have this team at number 1. But wait until my number 1 and you'll find out why. That takes nothing away from the most incredible season of football by Steve Coppell's Reading. 106 points. An incredible, incredible performance. An incredible season by a brilliant team. And probably the most consistent team we've seen in any of the teams talked about on this list. 6 players appeared in 45 or 46 of the 46 games. Absolutely incredible. A devastating old school 4-4-2. Harper and Sidwell, a superbly balanced midfield too. Up top, Kitson and Doyle, 36 goals between them. Old school wingers, Glenn Little, Bobby Convey, Nicky Shorey went on to have a good career. Hanneman in goal, Sonko at the back, Graham Murty. Every outfield player scored, I'm told, allegedly. 106 points, a 10-game winning streak. They were just untouchable. And they did actually lose the first game. So there you go, 106 points in 45 games if you hack out the first game. Brilliant, brilliant stuff from Reading. Ultimately, the most consistent team and the record point scorer. But They are my number 2, Reading 2005-2006. Number 1, Leicester 2013-2014. Yes, I know ultimately Reading are the record holders and got 4 more points than this Leicester team. Just a measly 102 here for Leicester. But for me, the whole beauty of sport is the story, is the narrative, is the winning against the odds. And I have got this at number 1 because of the legacy as well as the achievement in that one season. And let's be honest, only Reading managed more points than this Leicester team, but it's the legacy that puts it over the top. And we all know what happens 2 seasons after this promotion, that Leicester are going to win the most unlikely English title in the history of English football. Sensational achievement, and a lot of it starts right here. This is the team of Schmeichel, Nugent, Drinkwater and Vardy, but Riyad Mahrez is there, Wes Morgan is there, and essentially you have in this team that wins the championship in 13-14, the goalkeeper, the captain, one of the central midfielders, plus the creative force in Mahrez, and what will go on to be a Premier League great, the top scorer in Jamie Vardy. You have the genesis of a league title winning team here. So yes, David Nugent is the top scorer here. Yes, Leicester are outstanding, but it's all about the legacy for me. It's a great team. You've even got Kevin Phillips again popping up for yet another excellent championship season. Just to bookend this, he was in entry number 1 with West Brom, wasn't he? The one thing I will say as well is this team knew how to win. They won 31 games, but they won 18 of them by a single goal. So maybe that brilliant game management that was so intensely good in the title-winning season actually starts back here under Nigel Pearson. And we all know that Claudio Ranieri, with a few tweaks and the help of N'Golo Kante, Robert Huth, Fuchs, Okazaki and Albrighton, goes on. Those are the additions. This is the core. So it's a brilliant season from Leicester here. 102 points. They're only Reading have scored more points than them. But for me, the legacy of what went after this has to have this as the greatest ever championship winners. Leicester 2013-2014. There you have it. That is the list, ranking every championship winner from worst to best. Look, it's supposed to be a bit of fun. It's subjective. It gets a little bit of debate going. So get involved in the comments. As I always say, the best comment is your own list. I'd love to see your own list and your thoughts and memories on some of those teams. Let's make it a positive place in the YouTube comments if you're a supporter of any of those teams. What brilliant seasons and title wins they all did indeed have. Let me know who you would have in your list of the championship winners ranked from worst to best. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.